Well, this just in, more adults are shacking up. It's true. The government calls it shared households. That's the official explanation. Right now, nearly 1 in 5 homes is shared. But that's not all. The number of people on food stamps exploding, up nearly 10% last year. Here in California, where I'm reporting from today, the jump more like 13%. Are these bad signs for the economy or just a simple sign of the times? Michelle Fields on that. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think it's terrible. We have 13% of Americans on food stamps right now. That's not free. That's not cheap. That's $78 billion per year, over $6 billion per month.
Well, how did that figure get so high?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with eligibility. They've expanded who can get food stamps, so we're seeing so many more people on them. And that's really what this administration is all about, right, is making people feel more comfortable living in poverty, because that's what food stamps are. This administration should be implementing policies that don't make people feel more comfortable living in poverty, but help them rise above poverty so that they can open businesses, they can get a job, they can be independent. Instead, we have all of these people dependent on government.
Now, what's interesting with the food stamp thing is we have 40-some-odd million in this country on food stamps.
Yeah.
Whether it's just changing the qualifications or what it takes to get them, that's a startlingly high number. So to me, a good chunk of it is a lousy economy. You wouldn't have that many if the economy were better. Or it might just be a permanent fixed cost for the government.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think so. I think it is a fixed cost. And I think it's an indication of the real unemployment numbers and underemployment numbers in this country, and also the stagnation of wages, because that's what's really happening. A lot of people don't have jobs right now and are having to rely on the government and be dependent on the government because there aren't jobs in this country.
So when you look at programs growing, and you know, entitlements is a big sweeping area. I know a lot of people on Social Security, Medicare say, well, you might call it entitlement. I call it something that I've worked hard for, paid into. All good points. My point is they're all wrapped under the umbrella of something the government is giving. And there's a move among Democrats not to address entitlements right now, and even the end of the year fiscal mess disaster. Yeah. So if you're not going to address it now, my fear is I'm not really hopeful about your promise that you will next year.
No.
So is there something, what Michael Reagan was saying, Republicans cave on revenues and go ahead and agree to tax hikes, but never get the other part of the bargain, just as Ronald Reagan found out, as George Bush Sr. found out.
That's what's going to happen. If they cave, they're not going to get the other part of the bargain. What they need to understand is Republicans are at an advantage right now. If these tax cuts expire, what's going to happen is we're going to enter into a new recession. And who is that going to hurt politically? That's going to hurt Obama, because that's going to prevent him from achieving whatever it is that he hopes to achieve in the second term.
So you would just say, let the cliff come?
Yeah, no, don't flip. Demand spending cuts. Don't flip, because Obama's the one at the disadvantage.
Well, but he has no more elections.
But he won't be able to achieve what he hopes to if he has to deal with another recession. You don't think he'll pin this on
Republicans and that
it doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter, though. I mean, what is he going to pin it on? Members of Congress? Members of Congress, their approval rating, it can't get worse than it is right now.
Well, that's a very good point. You know, that's a very good point.
Who is it going to hurt?
So you think
Obama?
They should go ahead and play with fire on this and risk that very scenario?
Yeah, of course. I think they need to demand spending cuts. They're the ones who have the leverage, not Obama, not the Democrats. The Republicans are the ones who are at the advantage.
Well, then what do you think of the fact that they're not acting that way?
Well, I think that, you know, there are a lot of people out there, Grover Norquist, who are making it clear, look, you can't go back on this oath that you took, the taxpayer protection pledge, that you promised your constituents that you would not raise taxes. And I think they ought to, you know, uphold what they promised the taxpayers.
Get a little bit of backbone.
Exactly.
Michelle, good seeing you again. Michelle Fields. Whoa. Imagine her kid comes home with like all A's and a B+. What is this B+, young man?
You're grounded.
Yeah, you're grounded. You're grounded. All right, well,